The fishing news is brought to you by Shoreline Insurance, Navionics, Okuma, Yozori, Evinrude, and the Star Island Yacht Club in Montauk, New York. The very warm weather continues, and looking ahead at the marine forecast for the weekend, the relatively calm seas will persist as well. News 12 meteorologist Rich Von Olin was busy tracking thunderstorms, so no forecast from him this week. So we start off this week with Captain Kirk Fay with an offshore report.
Thanks, Tim. Hello, everybody. I just want to talk to you about my last trip out to the edge. I fished with Tony Gatto of Foxy Lady. We were in between Block Canyon and West Atlantis. Friday morning, things started off real slow for us. We had a blue marlin crash the spread, and then nothing happened for the next 2 hours. 7:30 rolled around, and from 7:30 to 11 o'clock, it did not stop. It was all blue yellowfin, and they were all very nice fish, anywhere between 50 and 80 pounds. There were other boats out there picking up big eyes, weeding it. In total, we probably had about, I would say, 15 yellowfin. In fact, one time we had 5 on at once. That's always awesome. You know, controlled chaos is a great thing to see out there. Without a doubt, the Y trackers, you know, are the lure to have. Directional bars, whatever you want to call them. 3/4 of our fish came on those. The other fish, I think, were all caught on, rig ballyhoo on single lures. This weekend, the weather looks fantastic. I'm hoping to get right back out there, and hopefully I'll be back here next Thursday and let you know how I did.
If you're looking for a quality fishing boat that's affordable, check out the Sea Pro powered by Suzuki. For less than $400 a month, gets you into all the action. Visit Kale's Family Boating Center for a test ride today. A few weeks back, the Fisherman crew was down in Florida for ICAST. That's the trade show where the latest fishing gear is revealed. Each week, a different product will be highlighted. This week is the latest surf rod from St. Croix. Speaking of the surf, let's check in with Senior Editor Fred Golofaro.
Hey, thanks, Tim. And yeah, we're definitely still in that summer mode. Hearing a lot of sharks, rays, kingfish, triggerfish, and of course sea robins, but not a lot on bass and blues until you get out east, primarily Montauk, where you still have good blue fishing during the daytime, a few bass mixed in the daytime. We're talking mostly small fish. At night also, more bass than blues, but there are blues mixing in with the bass. And some of the blues have pushed the 10-pound mark, whereas the rest of the island, if there has been any bluefish news, it's been primarily little cocktails. Good news, though, with Montauk, there were a couple of bass in the 30s taken over the weekend, one on the sand beach, one on the south side. And the boats were working in very close to Browns on Saturday night, late Saturday night, actually the wee hours of Sunday morning, and apparently catching very well. So there was some quality fish closer to the beach finally. The North Fork's certainly worth a shot. You still have some cooler water there, as you do in Montauk. And the East End inlets like Moriches and Shinnecock. Moriches Inlet, by the way, is now accessible. The outer beach at Smith Point is open to Cut 2, and you can get on Burma Road there and run it to the inlet. That's for fishermen only. The bad news is it is closed. There's no beach access from 10 p.m. till 8 a.m. in the morning. Hoping that's going to change very soon, hopefully by the time you see this. If not, again, it should be fairly soon. Getting those inlet jetties at Shinnecock and Moriches, I mean, you can play with triggerfish there with some squid and clam bait. There have been some shots of bass and blues coming through, nothing crazy, but you still have a shot. Very good fluke fishing on the back ends of the Shinnecock jetties. I'm hearing that from several sources, so you can do that during the daytime. The whole key to fishing both these areas, that last, say, 2 hours of the incoming current and the start of the ebb, especially around that turn when the current slows up, as far as being able to bucktail some fluke or even bottom fish for like triggerfish and porgies. You want that current to slack off a bit. But that last of the flood brings that cooler ocean water in. The bay water temperatures now are up near 80 or sometimes into the 80s. So that's not very conducive to making fish feed. So catch that last of the incoming.
Our Montauk report comes from Captain Tom Michalowski of Grand Slam Charters.
Thanks, Tim.
Hey, it's Captain Tom Michaelewski, Grand Slam Charters in Montauk. We're out here on Wednesday evening trying to catch some stripers in the Montauk Rips. I'm watching the radar. Hopefully we don't get blasted with any storms. Well, we'll see what happens. Fluke fishing has been pretty good for some captains. Captain Marco on the Christina Marie had some nice fluke, up to 9 pounds the other day. For me, fluke fishing has been like looking for unicorns. I can't seem to get on a good bite. But you'll go out there, you'll catch a couple of keepers at least, and get a whole bunch of sea bass, nice, good eating sea bass. And you bounce around into Frisbees, out of Frisbees, Cartwright, maybe off the lighthouse. Try to find a good drift and go that way. We had some nice stripers on Tuesday evening. I'm hoping they're going to bite here any second. I'm in the same spot, nothing yet. But we had 5 fish, 1 short, up to 30 pounds for the Phil Rizzo crew. And other than that, other than tonight, the weather looks great. So get out there and fish and have a nice night. Thank you. The green flies love this hot weather, and so do those biting black flies. If you're looking for an all-natural solution to protect you from these pests, try Captain Ron's, made from pure plant extracts. So it smells great, and it's safe, too. Mike Dean has the latest from Shinnecock.
Thanks, Tim. Fishing's definitely slowed down. The summer doldrums are here, but it's not that there aren't any fish to catch. The fish are there, not trophies, not a lot of blitzes or anything like that, but there's definitely some fluke in Shinnecock Inlet and outside 60 to 70 feet of water. A lot of guys using heavy bucktails with the teaser and sand eel imitator on that top hook. Porgy sea bass continues to be pretty solid. The tuna bite offshore continues to be solid when guys can get out there. Also a decent amount of threshers that are fairly close in with just a huge amount of bunker in the water. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot on them in terms of straight bass and bluefish. We're still right off the beach. Clambellies, bunker during the day have yielded a couple of 15 to 20 pound fish, some schoolies in the lip, taking small bucktails and little swimmers. Best bet is to go at sunset, stay for a little bit after dark, and might get rewarded with a keeper-sized fish there. Till next week, get out there and fish, have fun.
Now let's check in from the Fire Island area with Captain Al Lorenzetti.
Hey Tim, give you the update for Fire Island. It seems like kind of status quo on the fluke fishing. It's a mixed bag, a lot of short fish, occasional keeper, a lot of sea robins around. But certainly worth doing it. Some nice keepers. I had a fish about 4.5 pounds a couple of days ago. And also the crabbing is off the hook good now. The crabs just did a shed, so they're getting really big and very numerous. They're all over. And snappers are getting larger and active at the docks. So there's lots of stuff to do for adults and kids. Get out there and have a great time.
The West Side Report is brought to you by Rachel's Waterside Grill on the Nautical Mile in Freeport. You hook it, they will cook it, and just for $12 per entree. Call 516-546-0050 for all the details. I had the opportunity to fish with News 12 meteorologist Rich Von Olin on Tuesday morning. We caught a bunch of shorts in the brief time we fished. There was plenty of action, and I bet if you put your time in, you'll definitely find a few keepers in the mix. Now let's check in with Captain Joey Leggio.
All right, for the Debs Inland Report. Actually, before I get to the Debs Inland Report, let's talk a little bit about the offshore scene, what's going on. Everybody knows the tuna bite is phenomenal. There is a ton of tuna out there. Probably one of the greatest bluefin tuna bites we've had in years. Who knows? But it's really, really good. So I took out a bunch of guys on Saturday. They wanted to run their Grady. They never caught tuna on their boat, and some guys never actually caught a tuna at all. So we went over to Coimbra area. The fish were on the sand ales. We looked for the chick birds, found them. We had a tip from one of the local charter boats, basically gave us some numbers, and the fish were right there. The whales, the birds, and the porpoises. Dropped down some jigs, were rewarded right away with about a 30-pounder. From there, we had 2 others landed, about 100 and about a 50-pounder, and lost a 4th one. A lot of fun on the jigs. These guys had a blast, all light tackle, spin rods, and light conventionals. And it was great. It was a lot of fun. These guys had their first time tuna fishing ever, had some great steaks. Tried a shark drift for like an hour after we saw some sharks swim on the surface. Not much luck. Had a couple swim in the slick. But we did manage like a 7-pound mahi grabbed one of the shark rods. So that was it for the offshore scene that I did. But guys, get out there. This tuna bite is phenomenal. Now let's go back to Debs Inlet, where I'm mainly out of. Did a trip today, and it's just lock and load out there for the bottom fishing. You can fish any of the reefs right now, whether it be Atlantic Beach, Rockaway, McAllister, you know, there's so much life on these reefs. The porgies moved in heavy. You drop down, lock it up, crank it in. You got a porgy on. The sea bass in the mix. Today, the size wasn't there for the sea bass. We did get our limit, though. We had actually 8 keepers keeping our 6. And, 16-inch fish, nothing crazy. The porgy again was phenomenal. We then decided to do a fluke drift. And we just went right into the middle of AB Reef, fishing around all the structure. And we managed 6 keepers landed. Biggest one going just over 4 pounds. Also, guys, I mean, obviously you'll see my cook videos. You know I like to cook. The porgies make awesome fillets for making fish tacos. You got to try them out. A lot of people are shying away from the porgies. Fillet them up. You pull that red meat right out the middle of that center bone. You have 2 little pieces of meat. Season them up. Throw them in a pan. Grill them up nice. Whatever you got to do. And make tacos out of it. Honestly, they're so good. And you're going to really like them. Other than that, that's basically it. Actually, before I say that, to the bays, actually, the bays seem to be emptying out. I don't see much life in there. You know, a couple short fluke here and there. Tried the bridge. The bridge was completely dead. So basically, you guys, if you want the fish, I would start from the inlet, would be the closest thing, and out. Hit the reefs. Hit the tankers. Hit the Cholera, you know, fish are coming in.
Let's check in with Chris Ludwig and see what he's up to.
Thank you, Tim. What's going on, guys? And sorry about being on the move this morning. So, I did a lot of freshwater fishing this past week, a lot more than I've normally been doing, and I'm very happy about that. I was tossing around one of my favorite lunker hunt frogs towards, sunset into the dark, and I got popped by a big boy. It's probably about 3 or 4 pounds. It was really good for the pond near my house. Other than that, I did a lot of bluegill, white perch, and additional largemouth fishing. Got my little brother on his first largemouth. Very good. Gonna move out a ways. I was out by Riverhead. I know that's not my area, but just letting you guys know, I did some pretty good black crappie fishing using small pieces of power bait. We were just popping them on top like bugs. And yeah, we just saw them feeding that way, so we copied it. We had some pretty large bluegills out there too, just to add that. But saltwater, I only got out there once or twice this week. I had my buddy Josh out. We went 0 for 2 on big old sand tigers. He popped one on the hook set, and mine just dropped it after a while. That's fishing, but hope you guys get out there.
Let's check in with Paul McCain from River Bay Outfitters.
Hello, Tim. I decided this week to take a little break from the freshwater and do a little fluking off my kayak right here. And I'm not using a fly rod, but I had a great time out here. Caught a few shorts, got a few sea robins, had a great day, got a little color on the top of the head. Now, as far as the fishing reports, I talked to Duck Hunter Dennis. He's out there with his principal's son, and they had a weak fish, bluefish, and a few shorts out in the morning. It's been a great day. You do want to keep an eye on the sky as you look at these clouds building. At any time, we could have a thunderstorm, so always keep an eye out to the sky. Now, in the freshwater, Kenny the Hat is still hitting those fresh ponds, still catching carp. Walter Thomas, he went up to the Housatonic, slamming the smallmouth. So there's plenty to do. If you like to come to Housatonic, we have a trip this coming Monday, so give me a call. Tie lines, everybody.
Summer is here, so if you're in the market for a cooler for your boat or truck, one that is reasonably priced, holds ice for days, and is made in the USA, check out Orca Coolers at Marine Mate in Lindenhurst. From Sheepshead Bay, we have Luke Feeney.
The cow-nosed rays have become very active over the last week, and they have been by the Rockaway jetty by the hundreds. I've seen them right in the rip close to the tip of the jetty, and I've also seen them way south of the jetty on the edge of the tin can, and pretty much all over the tin can, both to the east and west of the jetty. They seem to just pop up in large schools, and I've found that what works is to pitch any unweighted bait at them, from clams to live peanut bunker, and if they are feeding, they will probably take it, and you better hold on because those things can pull, let me tell you. It's a lot of fun on spinning gear, and it's a good way to kill a few hours and catch a great fighting fish. A good amount of the fluke have moved east to the Atlantic Beach Reef, while some big fish still linger as they move into Ambrose Channel for August. There have also been some fluke by the south by the Scotland and the Mud Buoy. There are also some shorts mixed down on the Coney Island Flats, and the key for this August fishing now is to go deep and fish big baits for those late summer doormats. Big gulp grubs, live peanuts, and large fluke strips from previous keepers are all great baits. Speaking of peanut bunker, the peanuts have moved into the creek in large numbers. There are thousands of the peanuts all over Garrettson Creek wherever you look. These are all great baits for stripers off the dock and for fluke as well. The bonitors are still around if you are willing to contend with many bluefish. You may get lucky in throwing small metal epoxy jigs under the birds by the jetty, the elbow, and back near the Cross Bay Bridge. The blue claws are beginning to move into the local pilings both in Garrettson Creek and in Mill Basin Creek as well. This is a very fun night activity that the whole family can enjoy, and not to mention they are delicious. Last but not least, the bass have begun to move into the upper harbor by the Statue of Liberty on the eels, and I had a few today up to 40 pounds. That's it for this week. Be sure to get out there and do some fishing. Until next week, tight lines.
Now let's check in with Mike Sentry from Staten Island.
Hey Tim, hey Fisherman, hope all is well. Well, for this week's report, getting the local reports from Raritan Bay fishing reports that my friend Joe Goliath runs. Well guys, look, fluke fishing is hit and miss. You get a lot of shorts out there, still having a good time. Fluke season is probably the worst I've seen in years. For some reason, all the big fluke out in the channels, Long Island Sound, Coney Island, off of Coney Island, producing some nice size fluke. Here's my friend Matthew with a pair of nice size fluke. It's hit and miss, guys. You got to put some time out there. Along with the skates and sea robbers, you got to weed out through this. With that said, guys, striped bass still maintaining a good population around the New York, Raritan Bay area. Here's Mark Joyce with a nice bass he caught recently. Offshore, well, the jigging's pretty well non-stop with the jigging. Trolling, a couple guys are doing well with trolling, but it's mostly a jig bite using the butterfly jigs for bluefin and yellowfin. The mahis are definitely in town. A lot of chickens out there, chicken-sized mahi. Just get out there, have some fun. Don't expect anything. Remember, expectations the root of all disappointment. So enjoy yourself, guys. Have fun. Take care. Adios.
From Little Neck Bay, we have a fly report from David Yeagerman.
Thanks, Tim. Dave Yeagerman here from the Salty Fly Rodders. I'm out in Little Neck Bay in Bayside, Queens, and I'm fly fishing. I'm with a buddy, Noah, and we both hooked up on a couple of bass, and we're really having a good time out here. Weather is great, and we're giving it a shot on the kayaks.
From Cow Harbor Bait and Tackle, we have Mark McGowan.
All right, this week's report is red hot. We've got great fish. We had beautiful keeper fluke coming in, striped bass, a lot of cocktail blues, snappers, porgies everywhere. Sea bassing was like really good by the weekend, and then as we got closer to this new moon, the tides were really ripping. Today's the 31st, and that's the new moon, so the tidal coefficient is huge. I found that when it really got ripping, some of the fish slacked off in that 30 to 50 foot area, and then we moved in close. We had like beautiful keeper fluke in like 14 to 18 feet of water. They're just hammering these little tiny porgies, 4-inch, 5-inch porgies. They're on them. So don't overlook the short, shallow areas, but remember, with this new moon, you're going to be having some super low tides, so always keep your eye out on those rocks. If you're a boater, if you're a guy on the beach, use those low tides to kind of push out a little farther than you normally do to hit some of those deeper spots, and that's where the fish are hanging. As far as bait goes, it's nonstop action. I mean, we've got peanut bunker in the harbors, outside the harbors. As I mentioned, we've got these adult bunker pods I can see from Center Island Reef as far as Smithtown Bay. And if you pick them carefully, you will find nice size cocktail blues, 4 to 5 pounds underneath them, and occasional stripers in those areas. Remember, that stretch that goes from all the way down to Smithtown Bay, you're right around 50 feet area and shallower towards the water. So as you cruise along, keep your eye out along the shoreline for any kind of birds to help with locating the activity of these fish. There's definitely fish around, and remember, we're hitting August now, so if you're looking to plan a trip with the kids and just create some memories, now's the time to do it. Fishing's only going to get red hotter as we get closer to September, so make sure you pick up the phone and get on one of those charter boats or a party boat, your own boat. Just make memories, and never overlook the beach bite. The beach bite's been really nice. Some parts of the island, it's red hot fishing. Other parts of the island, you'd swear there's no fish in the world. So follow some reports, get to know a nice network of friends, keep your mouth shut, and you'll be able to stay on top of those fish.
It's that time. It's time for Hawaiian Dan.
Thanks, Tim. All right, everybody, let's light them up. Aloha! I'm Hawaiian Dan of TalkFishTV.com, reporting for the Fisherman magazine. This week off the central north shore of Long Island, where I have to tell you, we're still able to pull off that night SummerSlam bite, which includes a few nice stripers, fluke, a few porgies, and of course the cocktail blues. Now keep in mind, no matter where you are in the world, these tactics will work for you. Cool night summer water bite, target the lights, match the hatch the best that you can, and you know what I'm about to say, I'm predictable. The Tsunami 4-inch holographic black back split tails. If you don't have at least 3 backs, you're gonna be in trouble, but they've been producing for me all season, and I'm gonna continue fishing them until they stop producing. So remember, this is your favorite man, Hawaiian Dan, reminding you, no matter where you are in the world, to continue spreading as much aloha spirit as you can and choose to live the island life. Now back to you, Tim. Aloha.
Kenny Cannon, what do you got going on?
Hey Tim, same story up here in Northport, Ashrogan, Eaton's Neck area. We have bunker schools pretty much everywhere. There are some predator fish, depending on the bunker school you're actually on. They're kind of hit or miss, but they've been more prevalent over the past week or so. The fluke bite has slowed down to a steady crawl up here. I haven't really been catching many at all. The porgy bite has slowed down a little bit, but you can still get them pretty much any time of the day, all over the place. But it's just not as fast and furious as it was a couple of weeks back. My grandfather was out on a party boat. I don't know which one it was, but down on the South Shore, pulled in a 4.8 fluke, I believe it was, 4.8 inside the bay, which is pretty good. As far as the freshwater front goes, there are largemouth bass everywhere, big ones too. And they're hitting anything that's up on shore, like usually, like I always say when it comes to freshwater, right? Baby brush hogs tight in the cover, jigs tight in the cover, tube baits tight in the cover. That's what I've been catching them on, and I've been surprised because it's been very, very warm. And the bass are usually kind of sluggish, but they haven't been. They've been very, very active, especially early in the morning and late in the evening. So for this weekend, I'm going to be focusing mainly on the bunker schools on the North Shore bays and harbors and into the Sound, and hopefully catch some of those bass and bluefish that are underneath them. That is all from the Northport, Ashrogan, Eaton's Neck area. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Back to you, Tim.
Finally, Matt Fitz was heading to a wreck to do some sea bass fishing when he came across some debris, and hiding underneath the debris was a bunch of triggerfish. This is the time of the year when the tropical visitors are in the area, so be prepared. For links and more information, be sure to check out this video's description on YouTube. Remember, like our video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and tap on the bell to be notified instantly when we post a new video on YouTube. And of course, be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine to be part of the Dream Boat Contest. Until next week, this is Tim C. Smith for thefisherman.com. Win the incredible Steigercraft Evinrude Lowrance Grand Prize Boat Package and more in the Fisherman's 2019 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Get the details now at thefisherman.com.